Yes, Astro 6 has been released officially today, 10th of March, 2026. Very excited about this release. I have 4 applications that were deployed in production using the Astro 6 beta. Didn't see any major issues, but I'm very glad to see that the version 6 release candidate has come out, and I have already upgraded all my applications in production to this latest version. But what is really so great about Astro version 6? Well, the first thing would be if you are running Cloudflare as a hosting provider, or you're thinking about hosting with Cloudflare. Previous to this, Astro 6 it didn't really have a very accurate implementation in development. So you could have some inconsistencies between Astro in dev and then when you deploy to production. So now your dev server is as close to Cloudflare production as possible. There's some other great improvements. Server-side rendering can be twice as fast as version 5. Zod4 has a cleaner syntax. Font handling has been improved, and security headers are built in. But what happens if you are not really familiar with Astro at all, or maybe you haven't really used Astro 6 on Cloudflare, or maybe you've used it as a blogging platform, but you're not really too sure how its new API endpoints work. That's why I developed a Claude plugin, which you can install by copying these instructions from the video description. We run Claude, and there is now a new command called get Astro 6 new. What this does is it will build our application for us. As you can see, I'm choosing the current directory. First thing we get here is a presentation of exactly what steps we're going to follow. Step 1 will be to create a scaffold that uses Astro's built-in generator, and it installs Tailwind. Step 2 does some basic Tailwind configuration, sets up some sensible defaults. Step 3 is optional, which would be to add logging in development. It also adds some very detailed logging for API requests, including all params and headers. So if you are doing mobile application development, this can be really useful, but it is optional. Then it sets up some basic components, a header, footer, layout, and a homepage. Optionally, you can set up Sharp for faster image loading. You can optionally set up content collections, which is not a Astro 6 feature, but I think it's really one of Astro's best features. If you want some more information about content collections, please subscribe and leave your questions in the comments. Client routing, which is also optional, allows you to navigate between pages without a full DOM reload. And then step 8 is optionally to set up a REST API. You might not need a REST API, or more importantly, you might not need a REST API at the moment. You can, at a later date, come in and run get Astro 6 API, and that will set it up for you when you need it. As part of that, it's going to set up infrastructure. This is going to configure things nicely so that you can work with Cloudflare's D1. It sets up the Drizzle ORM. It sets up Zod validation, and it sets up Vitest. It will then ask you if you would like to scaffold a resource. This one over here, get Astro 6 API resource, is very similar to what you might have experienced with Rails. This is effectively a resource generator, and it will create your model, your migration, and your action and your routing all in one step. At any point in the future, if you decide that you need to add users or cats or whatever other database backed resource you need, you can just come back in and run this command. It'll set everything up for you, including your tests. And then the final step is to create a Claude MD file, which helps Claude to understand exactly what's happening in your project the next time you start a session. Again, any questions, please leave a comment in the video description.